Awesome. Thanks a whole lot. It's great here to be at Bentley. Thank you, Kevin, Ashley, Alina, for the invite. I'm not going to run my mouth immediately. I'm just going to play something for 2 minutes, and I'm going to kind of coalesce and kind of bring things together. There we go.
Hi, we're the Nick City Dancers.
Hey, I'm Charles Barkley.
I'm Manny Pacquiao.
Everybody's Carmelo Anthony.
This is Ryan Howard.
Frank Yeager here.
Hi, I'm Sonia Richards-Ross.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Gonzalez.
Darrell Reeves.
Hey, this is Kenny the Jet Smith.
Kevin Durant.
Stuart Scott with ESPN.
Hi, I'm Georges St-Pierre.
This is Hines Ward. I'm Mark Sanchez.
Hey, I'm Dalen Hart Jr.
This is Chris Collinsworth, and you're watching JRSportBrief. Lock it in because we're loaded and ready to go.
I tell you what I think, you tell me what you think, you hit me back, you tell me if I'm wrong. What is the Sport Brief? It just so happens to be the fastest growing and most popular sports show on the entire internet. Now, growing up a sports fan from the Bronx, my passion for sports has allowed me to travel the world and do things just like this. We're here at the NFL Draft, but I'm in India right now. This is Yankee Stadium. Here, show them the dirt. Okay, bring it back. I would eat this dirt. The 2013 NBA All-Star Game in Houston, it's a wrap. Say hi to the people real quick.
Hello, hi to all of you.
Good stuff. We're gonna see if I can keep up with Hines. Coming up a hill, not so much fun. Get in there, man, push. Get in there, get in there. So we got my man Rob Gronkowski out here. Say what's up, man.
What's up, man?
You see who's behind me? It's A-Rod, look at him.
Finally, I've tracked you down in the desert.
This guy tracked me
down. You
down.
still owe me the $100.
We're not gonna get into all of that. I gotta,
All right.
Listen, it's all about being safe. I'm getting ready to step in to the MMA Institute. Now, what happens, Rick, if I decide to take my legs and flip over like that? Nothing. Probably nothing. Nothing, like nothing. The legendary Pele. Pele, how are you?
Fine, my friend.
This guy's gonna take my job, Howie. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty good.
And don't forget, coming soon, it's the JR Sport Brief World Network. Always remember, it's by a fan, for the fans.
What's up? What's going on? This is Kobe Bryant, and you're watching JR Sports Brief.
So that pretty much has been the past 4 years and change of my life. It's something that I've been able to translate and turn into a full-time job, talking to people like you all, talking about sports, essentially having fun. I've been able to grow it out into an entire business, and going off on the theme of coalescence and bringing things together, there are a few things that I want to kind of drive home, regardless whether you like sports, whether you're a cook, whether you're a comedian, and that's just a fact of bridging together the idea of passion and then turning your passion into your purpose. And that kind of pinpoints, and it all comes together at the end, besides passion and purpose, bridging together the things that I do, which is technology, which is sports, entrepreneurship. I'm from the Bronx, New York, big family. Everyone in my family loves sports. My grandmother will talk you to death growing up in the Bronx about the New York Yankees. If you start talking to her about A-Rod, it's a wrap. You're going to talk to her for 2 hours. If you talk to my mom about the New York Giants or the Knicks, she's going to tell you about the last time the Knicks won in 1973. So this has pretty much been my entire life. I always knew that I wanted to study and get into business. Did I know it was going to turn into a career in sports early on? No, I did not. I grew up in music and entertainment. My uncle is a DJ named Fat Man Scoop. If you ever heard his name, it's probably because he screamed over a record over and over and over again about putting your hands up or making noise. And I kind of translated growing up around him into a career in entertainment, still trying to figure out how I wanted to turn it into a business, basically. Went to college, Borough Manhattan Community College, went to Baruch College, a business school just like Bentley up here, but down in New York. And I kind of started to figure out that as much as I love business, there were other ways that I could go ahead and fulfill my passion for sports. Because obviously at 5'8", barely cracking 150 pounds, there was no way that I was going to be a star point guard in the NBA. You know, Muggsy Bogues and a few other guys may disagree, but for me, it was not necessarily gonna happen. So at that point in time, while I was still in school, while I was in the production world, my uncle had a TV show idea called Man and Wife. It was a relationship show. This was around the time that the internet really started to get going. Right around Twitter was starting to percolate. Facebook had just started. MySpace was still relevant, so I know how to operate a MySpace profile. Anybody who wants to get their MySpace going, I can help you out. So online, I was able to move the meter up, able to increase exposure for Man and Wife via social media. And at that point in time, I had interned and worked at Vibe. I was starting to cut my teeth in the marketing world, on the online world, how to get people to pay attention and watch, how to be engaging. My partner now, his name is Charlie Stetler. He managed my uncle. He was then able to take that to MTV. So I'm happy to say I worked on the first podcast to really go from the internet and end up on television. At that point, after the show aired successfully on MTV, I met someone named Fred Seibert. Charlie had known Fred for a long time, dating back to the early days of MTV, and Fred started something called Next New Networks, and it was really the first online production company. He had things like Obama Girl. Basically, this was around the time that President Obama was running for office. I don't know if anybody remembers, she was on a train singing how much she loved Obama. They had car shows, but one thing they did not have was sports. And at this point in time, I felt pretty confident in what I knew and just being online. And Fred suggested to me, hey, you like sports, it's your passion, you're not gonna make the NBA, I kind of knew that already. Why don't you take your passion for sports and turn it into a full-time job? And that's what we all just saw with JRSportBrief. I took a passion for a few things that I had: public speaking, sports. I like to crack a joke every now and then with a stern face. And I pulled all of that together and said, you know what? I want to create something a little bit different than what we get with traditional sports. I think anyone who's familiar with sports, we had Mr. Ryan here earlier today, there are a few avenues that you go down. If you want to end up where Mr. Ryan was, I'm not going to date him. I'm not going to put any years on it. But you go to school for a few years. You pick out a nice college, study communications, maybe journalism. You pay your dues at a lower level city. You go to the middle of nowhere and you do your reporting. Maybe you get called up to a major market. Maybe people read what you want to do. And then you go, oh, wow, I ended up here in Boston. And now I'm going to write. And that guy in the corner office is going to be my boss. And even after I write something, he's going to go, take this out, take that out. I don't like that. I'm going to take credit for what you said right there, so make sure you put my name on it. And he's going to hand it back to you and say, put it online. The difference between what I've been able to do with JRSportBrief is there's no middleman. I was able to utilize technology. I was able to utilize social media and kind of drive home my own purpose, or use my own purpose to kind of split it open and lay the groundwork for something new. There was no barrier for entry. I went and studied marketing management at Baruch College and ended up talking about sports, ended up in India, ended up in London at the Olympics, ended up, I think, in every corner of America. If you need advice on somewhere in America that you want to visit, feel free to ask me. I can tell you whether or not it's worth the trip. And it's just an awesome experience and something that I always love to share, because my passion for sports and public speaking and technology, I was able to take all of those points and kind of turn them into a business, something that's separate. You don't have me yelling at people on the other side of the screen about whether or not LeBron James is too passive in the clutch. You don't have someone telling me what I should say and what I'm not saying. The barrier of entry does not exist anymore, regardless of what your business is, whether or not you want to talk about sports, because the resources and tools are there for people to utilize. I'm pretty sure everyone has some type of account online. I think most of us in here probably have a Twitter. We probably have Facebook. She got married. She got divorced. He's dating her. Oh, what happened to those pictures they had there last week? I guess they broke up. All of the Instagram pictures are gone now. So there's a lot of stupidness that we could send. There's a YouTube video I saw yesterday of some guy out in China. He's invincible. You could put knives to him and you try to drill him in the head with a hammer. There are a million things that we all can look at and consume online. But what do we really do with them? Do we just consume? Do we innovate? Do we look at the resources and tools that are in front of us? Do we just use them as social media, or do we use them to kind of better ourselves or to actually grow out a business? And I think a lot of people get caught up in the box, the way you're supposed to do things. I think too many people get caught up in what people tell them what they should do, what they shouldn't do, how you should do it. And I really think the best way to be how can I say this? The best way to be a fruitful person in society is to take what you have a passion for and make that your purpose. Everyone is always thinking about the next move. What do I do while I'm in school? What do I do next semester? What do I do when I get out of college? Okay, I'm out of college. I have to look for a job. Okay, hey, they're paying the most money. I should go over there. You may not necessarily be happy over there. Oh, he's pretty cute. Oh, she's pretty cute. Well, let's see what I can do if I don't want to get married. Oh, well, it's time to get married. Oh, here's a baby. Everyone is always thinking about the next move, what they should do next. But if you actually go by what makes you happy, everything else will fall into place. Because I feel that I've broken a barrier of entry just online in sports, I feel like I'm laying a foundation for other people to express themselves without having to go a traditional route. I never had to hand in a resume to go ahead and start JRSportBrief. I took a camera, old Sony, I'm looking at my cell phone now, it's ridiculous because 4 and 5 years ago, my old camera from Best Buy out of the closet in the Bronx, New York, my closet didn't have the capabilities that comes in a cell phone now. So even 4.5, 5 years ago, I took that camera out, put it up on some shoe boxes, put it on a snack table, sat on my bed, and did that first video that you saw. And unfortunately, I sat there for 8 minutes kind of rambling. I hope I was able to truncate my message up until now and spoke. 500, 600 people watched right away. I've been able to build out a production company online, a business, if you really think about it, just on a small camera from Best Buy that is now obsolete on some shoe boxes. And it's taken me all around the world quite a few times. So the idea is to not necessarily look at the barriers of entry, but see what you can create for yourself. Because everyone is always used to looking at things one way. So with JRSportBrief, my whole entire intention was to kind of show people that there isn't necessarily a glass ceiling. It's all what you perceive to be a glass ceiling. And if you see one there, if you really feel one is there, then go ahead and break it. It doesn't matter what the area of work is. It doesn't matter what the profession is. With JRSportBrief, I have access to athletes, to journalists, to plenty of brands that I've worked with, like Capital One, who have been awesome to me. And these are all relationships that I've been able to go ahead and cultivate over the past 4.5 years. So what I'm doing, and it's pretty cool, I like the whole TED setup and the Bentley setup, because I match. It's the red and black, it's the JRSportBrief. So if I think about the traditional TED rug or carpet, don't beat me up, TED people, I don't know what you call it. I'm laying this out to have people come and join me. So if you're interested in auto, tied into sports, if you're interested in comedy, tied into sports, if you like the Boston Red Sox, if you like the Los Angeles Lakers, I want to give you an opportunity to express your own thoughts on sports without having to go to school, without having to sit through classes, without having to have a barrier of entry. Because companies like Google, companies like YouTube, companies like Twitter, they're all free. We use them. But what exactly are we using them for? And along the way, it's just about figuring out how you want to utilize those things, what your passion is, and then just opening up the doors all by yourself. The barriers of entry don't necessarily exist. If you figure out what you want to do, what you like to do in life, you've basically fulfilled your purpose. What I'm doing with JRSportBrief, I find the most joy in filling people in on everything I do. One of the main questions I'm always asked is, who's my favorite athlete to talk to? You know, sometimes I gotta look up at these guys, my neck hurts. They're not the best people to talk to. I enjoy filling people in on what I've been able to accomplish so far with JRSportBrief and what I'm laying out. And the whole give back is just an opportunity. I've been doing this as a full-time job for 4.5 years. And just to be able to share that with other people, whether they're in the United States, whether they're in the United Kingdom, that's the giving back. That's the most fulfilling part of everything that I do with JRSportBrief. To have someone in London who's a big Chelsea fan be able to speak about Chelsea for 2 minutes and actually make money off of that, that's pretty ridiculous, especially if you want to think about 10 or 15 years, that opportunity wasn't there. And that's what I've been able to do with JRSportBrief. So if there's a few things or one thing that ties everything together, coalescence, it's letting your passion drive your purpose. Think about what you like to do. Think about what you enjoy and make a great life out of it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bentley. Hopefully I'll come back in a few more years. Thank you.